Hi, welcome to this week's episode of Badge of Business, Pentwater Talks. I'm here with my co-host, Eva Gregor, and this
Hi,
week we
everyone.
are going to be talking about what, Eva?
I think it's good now that summer is really fast approaching and everyone's getting excited and they're outside doing yard work and everything to touch upon the popular subjects of short-term rentals, golf carts, and parking. And then we can slide into our guest today, Josh from West Michigan Community Health.
Hi,
So,
Josh.
Hey, how we doing?
hello.
Good.
So, all right, go ahead, Eva. We'll start with you.
So
Josh.
real quick, just to recap for people, short-term rentals in Pentwater, in the village of Pentwater, you do have to be on the list. And a
Right.
short-term rental is anything that rents, is it less than a month at a time? Or is
Yes,
it-
anything less than a month. So,
Okay.
what we have, and we have 80 of those that are licensed in the village. And
Yes.
if you're renting and you don't have a license, that is definitely a no-no, and we'll be trying to catch you doing that to help you not do that. But generally, we don't have that problem. I mean, it's not rare, but it's not common. But what I would tell people is if you are up here and if there's a short-term rental operating and you're experiencing noise or parking situations or any kind of things that you think shouldn't be happening, feel free to call the police department. You can call us through 911 or you can call us here during business hours at 869-8301 and hit extension pound 106 or pound 109. If you need to speak to an officer right away, please call 911 and they will get a hold of us and dispatch us out right away. Typically, we're on about 80% of the time in the summertime, so we shouldn't have any problem. If it's a non-emergency problem, feel free to go ahead and give us a call at the office. So really what we ask people to be is good neighbors. Every short-term rental should have some good neighbor pamphlets in there that can kind of explain the process of how to get a hold of us and what the rules are and those kind of things. Our goal in life is just to make it through the summer with everybody getting along, no arguments, and everybody surviving the summer. That's really the police department's
goal.
goal.
If your short-term rental is not registered, do get on the waiting list at the Village of Pentwater. So make sure
You
you do
can,
that.
and there is a lottery process for that.
Yes. And if you find yourself with a short-term rental, you will get ticketed if it's not registered.
You will.
And what is the first fine?
$500.
Okay. And then the other thing real quick before, because we want to get Josh going here, mindful of golf carts. You have to register your golf cart with the Pentwater Police Department or the Village of Pentwater. It is free to register it. So please make sure you register your golf cart and you can get right there the list of rules and regulations in regarding operating a golf cart in Pentwater.
And I should tell you that I have been in touch with Chief Jones up in Ludington. And as chiefs do, we share things back and forth. They've done a lot of changes in their golf cart ordinance up in Ludington. He sent me a copy of it. I've had some folks come into the office here who've seen that, want to talk about different things with golf carts. So that's kind of an evolving thing. But right now we don't have any announcements to make, but it's something that is on our radar.
Yes. And as always, you must have a license, just like you would a motorized vehicle, to drive a golf cart and make sure that you're not, sitting on all these laps and everything, packing as many as you can on it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is regarding parking. We'll just touch upon again, especially during the busy seasons, make sure that you pull off your vehicle as far as possible on the side of the road, even if it's all four tires on the grass in certain streets. So an emergency vehicle can get down.
Yeah. Our PSOs are going to be out. They're going to be writing warning tickets. Usually we try to do 75% warning to 25% actual tickets. I can't make a commitment to that, but those guys are out there trying to enforce those parking rules. They are important when we're trying to get people, emergency services people, to different residents. So that's it.
All
Ready to
right.
bring Josh on?
Yes,
All right.
I want you to introduce them.
Okay, I'm going to introduce Josh. So Josh and I are good buddies.
We go way back, don't we, Chief?
We have been working 9 years, 8 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And the focus of our work has been really to try and improve mental health services to people in the community and improve how the police do their work and how they deal with the mentally ill and how we get them help. Okay, and so what is your title this year? Now your title
So
changes sometimes.
it hasn't for quite a while. So for the past
Okay,
almost 6 years, I've been the chief clinical officer here at West Michigan CMH.
it's just your duties that change, come and go.
Well, life always changes, work changes, a lot of things happen. So
Okay,
we all shift, right, to make it happen. So
For the people
So-
that don't understand, though, Josh, because you are from WMCH, where exactly are you located? Because I don't think people realize that we have such a great resource close to Poundwater.
yeah. So we West Michigan Community Mental Health. So in Michigan, every county has a community mental health center. And so we cover Lake, Mason, and Oceana County. So we have a main office in Ludington, a main office in Baldwin, and a main office in Hart. And then a couple of satellite offices for some other services. But those are the main offices that we have. So that's the population that we cover primarily. Some people from outside of the county can come in certain circumstances to get services with us. But when it comes to crisis services and substance abuse services and services for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, those are the populations that we serve, from little kids all the way to people in their 90s. We serve the whole population with crisis services and treatment services in a wide variety of ways.
Yeah. Well, why don't we start out by talking a little bit about CIT?
Sure.
And CIT stands for Crisis Intervention Team, and it's really a training that has been predominantly for law enforcement officers. It's certainly nothing. When we started it was new to our area, but it is not new by any stretch of the imagination to the United States.
Mm-mm.
So
Right.
been around for a long time. So we've trained, I think, in the last 3 years. I want to say
In
we're
the
getting
50s.
40, 50. We
think
got
we're
to
in
get at least
Yeah, I
40.
think we're over 50
Yeah.
either corrections officers from the jail or street officers, law enforcement officers.
Right. And so the CIT training is really, when you look at training, it's like the Cadillac of training for that particular thing. It's a 40-hour training. You spend the first 3 days of that training really learning all about the different mental health disorders. You learn about all the different meds. You learn about different interactions. You learn about symptoms. It's a deep dive into that kind of stuff. Then the last 2 days of the training, you are taught de-escalation strategies, and you are run through a whole bunch of scenarios, which are the best part for me because I get to be an actor, and I do. I have fun with it. As Eva could probably attest, I have a good time. So really, at the end of the day, that training, those officers take away, and they really have specialized skill set in dealing with people that are in a mental health crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get a CIT officer involved with something, 99%, maybe that's a lie. 90% of the time, you're going to have a better outcome than untrained people.
Totally.
Just because they're taught to de-escalate things and do that. That's like the first level of intervention. And when we talk about CIT, we're really talking about an intercept model, and that's kind of a deep dive, but there's basically 5 or 6 points along the path that we can divert people into services. And the first two really involve the community and law enforcement services. And so when we get called, we try to divert folks into mental health. And we do that through using a Mobil Crisis team. And I'm going to let Josh kind of talk a little bit about Mobil Crisis and how that works. But we use it. And that has come a long way. And when I say that's come a long way, it's come a long way.
Yeah.
Those folks will come out and they do a great job. So Why don't
Yeah.
you talk a little bit
Yeah.
about that?
I just want to recognize, I mean, you did a good job at describing the foundation of that class. I just want to recognize how difficult a police officer's job is and can be when because oftentimes they are the first for someone with a significant mental health situation, whether it's suicide or someone's psychotic or having a bipolar episode or just, high emotion, all that kind of stuff. A lot of times the police get called to those kinds of situations. And so for them to go in, they've got so many things, going through their head when they come upon a scene. They want to make sure people are safe. They want to make sure, that all legal stuff is handled correctly and all those kind of things. On top of that, they've got to figure out, is there substance use involved here? Is there a mental health situation going on? And then what do I do with that? So police officers are often trained really well, but experience and specialized trainings, I think, are what can really help officers get a handle on. These are a few things I can rely upon or skills I can use in the moment when I'm coming across a situation like that. And, how they handle that can sometimes be the difference between, life and death. You see, I don't think that's happened locally here, hopefully, but there are situations you read on the news where the outcome is not good at all, and they end up using a weapon or something, or an officer gets killed or bystanders get killed because it didn't get de-escalated in the way that maybe it could have or should have. So I just want to give kudos to police officers and all the situations that they walk into that require a really high degree of skill.
And I don't think people in Pentwater or that come to Pentwater realize how much, especially with the mental health or substance abuse or anything, that the local police do have to deal with. And that's what's great about their partnership with you.
Yeah. And so the police play a big role, and that's where the CIT trains them in that. There certainly is, they've got some decisions to make on what to do when they come across a situation. Do they intervene? Do they take them to the ER for potential, hospitalization? Do they call our Mobil Crisis team that Laud mentioned? They've got some options, but they need to use their judgment based upon, training to make sure they make, the best, hopefully the best choice to get that to a good outcome, which Chief mentioned is to get that person the help that they need, get them connected so that they're safe that night or that day, and then hopefully get connected to treatment in the long run so this doesn't happen again next week and next month and next year. Things escalate and get worse. But so the Mobil Crisis part, just to answer that part real quick, is that so in our 3 counties, we in Michigan, the community mental health centers that I mentioned that all communities have, their job per the mental health code is to be the 24/7, 365 crisis response system. So we have 2 people on all the time, holidays, weekends, nights, days, all the time, ready to respond to a call. And sometimes that's from police officers who say, hey, we got a situation, I've got it de-escalated, but really could you use your expert? And I don't think they need to go to jail. I don't think they need to go to the ER. Can you come out and help this person out? So that's what we have and we're able to do. And we can do that virtually through a phone call or through sometimes an iPad, or sometimes in person. Those 2 people rendezvous somewhere and they drive to wherever the spot is. It's been, determined a safe place by the police, and the person wants us to come. It's a voluntary kind of thing. Then we come and we can kind of take over, and the officer can go about their business.
Yeah, and I will tell you just some of the challenges that we face in law enforcement. A lot of people that are watching this have a good understanding that we certainly have staffing problems. And when I say staffing problems, we're having staffing problems because a lot of our older officers that have got a lot of experience are now getting ready to retire. And so the young officers that we get that are in their early, mid-20s, something like that, a lot of these folks they struggle with communication. When you take somebody that's a 20-year-old person and you have them talk to somebody that is in a mental health crisis, or let's just take the mental health crisis out of it. You have them talk to a 60-year-old person or a 50-year-old person, and they're not used to doing that. That's an issue. I mean, they can text, they can Instagram, Snapchat, all that stuff. But when you put them on a one-on-one, and when they're talking to somebody, that becomes really challenging. And when you add to that the the complexity of trying to identify what's going on in the situation and trying to keep yourself safe, that's another whole game changer. So, that's a challenge that we're all struggling with. The other thing I will tell you is while police officers are dealing with this quite a bit, on the mental health side, that's their job. That's 24/7. So we may get a break. Okay, it may be a day or two between mental health emergencies for us, but for those on-call folks, that's every day. So the burnout rate for those folks is also high. So we have a staffing problem, and they have a staffing problem.
Yeah, I mean, it works both ways because it's their job that they get good at it, right? They've seen every situation can be unique, but they just get more comfortable. They get more competent to be able to come in and manage a situation with a high level of skill, know what resources are available to make sure the situation ends well. And we do that all the time and see really serious stuff. People who have attempted suicide or are suicidal in the moment or who are psychotic or, what other stuff that can be pretty jarring to someone who doesn't have a lot of exposure to that. But our people can, know how to do that. But like you said, doing that all the time for your career, it can wear on you. So we internally know that, and we have ways of helping our staff stay healthy and all that kind of thing too. But
well, that actually leads to my question to you, because we're dealing with the patient themselves. However, do you there offer any support or where people can connect that are just like the family members or the loved ones that are trying to deal with having someone in their family or friend that is going through mental issues?
Sure. Yeah. We've recently opened what's called the behavioral health urgent care. So on the medical side, you've got the routine doctor's office, and then you've got the ER. In between, there's the urgent, medical care. You can go in not 24/7, but you can go in during the daytime and deal with something. So that's something that we have for anyone to come in if they're, in a difficult spot. People can come in for lower level services. People maybe who you just described might benefit from some counseling and that kind of thing. That's not emergent care, but I just need some help processing this and sorting out how to deal with a family member who's going through a really hard time, and how do I best help them? How do I protect myself? All kinds of difficulties that come with that kind of a situation. So, yeah.
No.
One of the other challenges we have is reducing the stigma of mental illness. And that's a huge, and this is my personal belief, and you can pitch in here, Josh, but it is so much better when people call us before there is a crisis. Because for us, we can establish a relationship, get to know that person, kind of get to see what the baseline is, and have talking points and have a connection to that person. For what really makes it challenging for us is when we get somebody we've never seen them before, and all of a sudden this is a new face. We don't know who they are. We don't know what their history is. We don't know anything about them. That is a lot more complex for us. Yeah. And so when you talk in terms of policing, you have county deputies that work the entire county. Then you have municipal police, Ludington Police Department, Hart Police Department, Pentwater, smaller jurisdictions. Those smaller jurisdictions, we see these folks all the time. Yeah. We're interacting with them all the time. So a lot of times we have a relationship where we have a starting point. Sometimes that happens at the county level, but a lot of times when law enforcement we call, we're already past the point where we can try to de-escalate it. And it becomes a lot harder. And that limits our options. The sooner you get us involved, the sooner we start talking to folks, the sooner we can make referrals to mental health or to some of their services, the greater the likelihood that we're gonna have a successful outcome. That's my first point. My second point is people need to understand that mental illness is not like a cold. You don't get over it in 6 weeks or 6 days. You don't take an antibiotic and you're better in 4 days. They take time. And even if you go on meds, it takes time. So there isn't an instant cure. And a lot of these folks, when you see them, if you ever really got to know somebody, you see that it's a mental illness, but they are truly suffering. You see them struggle.
Yeah.
And I think the more people can adjust to that and understand that it's, this is not just, they're not quote unquote crazy. They are suffering and they are asking for help. You just need to learn how to listen to that. So
Unfortunately, I think it's human nature, both like with medical problems and with mental health problems, is you go, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, I'll wait, and pretty soon we're having a heart attack. You got to go to the ER and something terrible happens. When, prevention could have helped a lot to avoid a medical issue. We wait too long. Same is true for the mental health, like you were mentioning. Things like this generally don't happen overnight, that there's, develop over time. And people maybe turn to ways of coping or dealing with it that maybe contribute to the problem as opposed to help the problem. So ideally, the sooner you kind of recognize that something isn't right with me, I'm feeling way depressed for too long, or anxious, or I'm starting to hear voices, or whatever the case might be. If you're a family member, encouraging people to get help, because then once they do get connected to the support, one is their trust in the people in the community hopefully goes up because they had good experiences. Like, I can actually trust the police to help me when I'm in trouble, or I can go to my therapist and they get me and it helps, that kind of thing. But coming in cold, there's a lot, they have a lot of feelings in the moment about who is this person in my living room and what are these police going to do to me, and all kinds of fears, and the mental health stuff might play into how they're perceiving the situation, all that kind of thing. So your point about getting connected sooner can really help to a better outcome, I think, in the long run.
Yeah. I will say, over the years, mental health is definitely very important to get help with it, because now you see it. I mean, I think everyone knows somebody that's struggling with it.
For sure. It's a super common, even if people don't ever say they struggle. To be human is to struggle, right? There's a lot of pain in life. There's a lot of difficulty. Relationships are hard. Making it in life is hard. Jobs are hard, and that wears on us, and we feel it, and it takes different forms. But most people relate to it on some level. Sometimes there's really severe situations where people say, I've never been psychotic or I've never been suicidal, but on some level, people can kind of usually relate to on the spectrum in some way.
Now, where can they see a list of all the resources and everything that you folks offer there?
So they can just Google our website, West Michigan Community Mental Health. That should come right up. And again, that's Lake Mason, Oceana. Our phone number is 1-800-992-2061, 1-800-992-2061. They can call 24/7. And again, we're a walk-in facility too. So literally 90% of the time we're open 8 to 5. We have some evening hours in Ludington on Tuesday, and in Hart on Wednesday we're open till 6 and open at 7 in the morning. And on Saturdays too, now we're open in Ludington. People can literally walk in and usually get an assessment within about 30 minutes or less. And then from there, that's step one, to see what's going on, what are you interested in, what's your story and your history, and how can we help. And then they get them connected, usually within a week or so, to maybe the next step in the process, to start with some treatment of medications or seeing a therapist or some other service that we might have.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, the other thing we have developed a field guide, and it is on West Michigan's website. I want to say it's under the community partners tab.
It is, yeah.
And that will take you through a lot of the things that we discussed here today, but it will give you a deep dive into all the steps and all the options, and what we're trying to do as we go through it. And I would encourage, if you're a family member and somebody in your family struggling or they have an issue, take a minute, go on there, read through that guide. That will answer a lot of your questions. And I think it's been a couple of years since we have updated it, but it's fairly current. I mean, not a lot changes. So it's really current. So
It's really
that will-
meant to, yeah, it's meant to describe what literally all the different, depending on what your situation is and kind of where you enter the system, whether you call us or you get your police come to your house or you get arrested, or the different places that people kind of intersect with help. Kind of our motto is making the most of every opportunity. So if somebody with a mental health issue enters the system wherever in our system, the people in the system know what to do to get that person some help. So that's really what the guide does, is that spells that out, all the opportunities and options you have in each of those scenarios.
Yeah.
Great.
So, anything else, Eva, on the mental health? What do you think?
I think there's so much that people aren't aware of and that they need to learn. And I think this is a great time that we had Josh come on here, and, he just touched the highlights of it, and there's still more in depth. And I think people just need to realize that there is help out there. You just have to take that.
I think
For sure.
someday we need to have you come back, and we have to, as much as it pains me to say it, we have to talk about this comorbidity of substance abuse and mental health and the issues that come with that.
Yeah,
And
that'd be a different topic for sure.
I think it would be a great topic, especially to talk about cannabis and the use of that and the effect that we're having, that we're seeing, because we're seeing people that literally smoke themselves into a psychotic state, and yeah, that's really scary.
Yeah, put those two things, mental health and substance use together, not a good recipe usually.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you,
Thanks,
Josh.
for coming.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come on, and we're going to have to talk about substance abuse.
Yeah, shoot me a text. I'm available whenever you need me.
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate
All
it.
right. We'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So I think that was a good one. I think it was good.
I think a lot of people are going to learn good information, and I hope that they look into it further as well.
Yeah.
Not even if they think they don't have an issue, but just to learn about it, because I know that everyone knows someone that's going through something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed these podcasts that we're doing. I will put the contact information in for Josh, and also a link to the field guide in. And we will see you next time on Badge of Business Pentwater Talks.
Bye, everyone.